So thank you for attending live for our Communication Partner Strategies number 3. I can't believe we're past the halfway mark now, right? But welcome of our 4 sessions where we've done our second session. Your homework last week was to give choices. So I just kind of want to talk about that. How did it go? So we were sort of thinking about that statement. When I provided choices, my child or student, once it was like homework for you, did you find more opportunities to provide choices across the day, do you feel? For those of you that are live, you can give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat or awesome. Awesome. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear that you're giving more choices to provide your student with more ability to sort of control their day, right? And have some more agency throughout their day. Yeah. I find that when I give choices, first of all, some of my students are not used to having choice, right? And so it sometimes takes a minute for them to do it a little bit quickly. Sometimes it takes a little while for them to actually make the choice. But I do find that once we've made the choice, it's interesting because like when you look at their overall day, if you start implementing more choices, sometimes you see a little bit more engagement throughout the day. Sometimes you see more ability for students to sort of use their communication to change their world, right? Because that's what we want in the end of the day, right? Like we want the student to have the ability to make a good life for themselves, to find some joy throughout the day. Okay, so today's strategy, we're going to talk about teach more, test less. And as usual, we're going to start with a video. We have 2 videos for you today, actually. Who's this?
Pinkalicious.
What's that?
Butterfly.
What's that?
Bird.
What color is this?
Purple.
What color is this?
Red.
What color is this?
Blue.
Who's this?
Mom.
Who's this?
Boy.
What's this?
A ball.
So, what's wrong here? It's very fast. Yes, thank you, Helga. Thank you, Helga. But yeah, it's really, really fast. And Kim is not having fun, right? Reiko is only asking questions. This feels like a test. And when you think about tests, like, do you like to be tested? Not really, right? Like, nobody wants to be tested. We're going to watch one more video. Have you seen this book, Kim? Yeah. Open it.
Open.
No, open the book. Open it. Open the book. Okay, now read the book. Read the book. Turn the page. Oops. Turn the page. Turn. Nope, turn the page. You want to be on the next page. Turn the page. Turn the page. Oh, okay, we're finished now. We're finished. It's the time's up. Time's up. We're finished.
Finish.
We're finished.
Finish.
Yep. We're finished.
Finish.
Okay, thank you. Good job.
Good.
Okay, so what's wrong here? First of all, Kim is not having fun. Reiko, grammar mistake. Reiko keeps telling Kim what to do. This still feels like a test, right? Like I'm asking fewer questions, but it still feels like a test. I'm like telling her what to do, and it's like all about her following my directions. And again, do you like to be tested? Not really. Does Kim want to do what Reiko is saying? I would say guessed on Kim's facial expressions, no, right? Kim has her own ideas of what she wants to do with the book and how she wants to read the book, but Reiko keeps telling her to do things that are conflicting with that, right? And all Reiko wants is for Kim to follow the directions. She doesn't really care that Kim's enjoying this book. And also, has Kim really communicated anything in the last 2 books? Like, you know, when we think about that first book where I was asking a whole bunch of questions, Kim was answering questions, but she wasn't really given opportunities to talk about the book and the pictures and if she had any opinions on it. She was just like answering rote questions, right? And then in the second book, where I was telling Kim everything to do, Kim was expressing her um, dissatisfaction with the way that we were reading the book, but she wasn't really given the opportunity to really talk about the book or anything, right? So what could Reiko do instead? Oh, that is not high resolution. Okay. So AAC skills. So what we want to focus on teaching, right? Here, when we have discovering, they call it, but I would say testing. What do you want? What do you want? Show me what you want. Tell me, right? When we are focused on the student's output, it can actually stop the conversation from flowing, right? And this particular graphic says that, we should really keep those kinds of things to like 10% of our interactions. The rest of the time, we should be modeling without expectation, explaining, demonstrating, discussing, instructing, noticing, scaffolding, recasting. These are all teaching strategies, and we should be spending about 90% of our time doing that. One of the things I mentioned just now is modeling without expectation. I think we've talked about it already, but modeling without expectation is me modeling using the student's communication device to support my expressive communication, but I'm not requiring the student to do anything, right? So I'm not saying, modeling something and then saying, now show me, right? I'm not modeling something and saying, say it with your talker, right? I'm just modeling. I'm just focusing on the student's input. So why is it important to teach more, test less? We talked about the Communication Bill of Rights last time, and I was talking to a parent after that, and she mentioned how much she really liked that. She's like printing this out and putting this up in her house. So I went back to it and kind of looked at it to think about, so let's think about teach more, test less, right? And how does that apply to the Communication Bill of Rights? So an AAC user has the right to comment and express opinions. And an AAC user has the right to be talked to in a way I can understand. Sometimes when I see interactions where people are asking a lot of questions, when I do some asking about that, I say, like, can your student answer where questions or what questions? Like, if I say, what is that? Can your student answer that? And they're like, no. And so it's kind of not fair, right? It's like we're testing, but we're testing things that the student can't do yet, which is an additional layer of not fair, right? So, and sometimes, maybe we're not asking questions, but we're saying, do this, do that, turn the page. When I ask, do they know that instruction? Sometimes the answer is no. So not only is this like not a fun interaction and it feels like a test, it's also not language that the AAC user understands. So that's an important piece of this as well. And we talked about that wait time, right? And how wait time can go down when we're super motivated and engagement can go up when we're really motivated. And if it's fun, kids are going to be motivated, right? And they're going to be more engaged and they're actually going to learn better. So it's really important to have fun interactions. Would you rather take a test or play a game? Most of us would say we'd rather play a game, right? Because it's more fun. So, what I want you to think about is rather than providing sort of like a testing experience for our kids, rather than being a director and telling them what to do, what I want you to think about is being a sportscaster. Okay. So, what does a sportscaster do? They talk about the things that they're seeing going on in a game, right? So, going on in a baseball game, hockey game, something like that. So, how do we do this? So, listen to what you're saying this week. And if you catch yourself testing or directing, try to talk about what you see instead. Right. And when we think about that black graphic that I had earlier, right? Explaining, modeling, doing all of those things instead. We'll look at a couple examples. And we're going to model without expectation. Again, that means that I'm not going to require the student to produce anything while I do this. So say we're looking at a book together, right? And it's a book about transportation and it has all these vehicles on it. And say I catch myself saying, "Where's the helicopter? Show me the truck," right? So those are questions I'm directing. That's what we're kind of trying to avoid this week, right? So what I could do instead, uh-oh, my slide, I my slide didn't work. What I could do instead is say, I'm looking for the helicopter. Where's the helicopter? Oh, here it is. I like that helicopter. Helicopter. That's a good helicopter. Now, where is the oh, another one we could model for a helicopter is it is up in the sky. The helicopter is up in the sky. So I'm modeling, I'm talking. I might ask the question, but it's more like a I wonder. I wonder, where's the helicopter? Oh, there it is. And so I'm showing the student how to answer the question, where is the? I'm teaching the student what a question is, really. Sometimes that's where we need to start. I might even just look at this page and go, oh, look, helicopter, dump truck, and just name things that I'm seeing, right? So I'm focusing on the student's input rather than their output. So say the student wants a snack or something on a shelf, right? Sometimes I see people say, tell me what you want, use your talker. So again, I'm directing the student to do something in order to get it, but they're reaching for the thing, right? I can see that that's what they want. Actually, I have a student that just communicates that he wants something by going to it. Actually, we have lots of students like that, right? So this particular student will go over to the cutlery drawer because he likes to play with the cutlery, and that's how he requests. And he does that consistently, right? So his team knows that that's what it means. And so for us to come in and say, tell me what you want, use your talker, that's again more like a directing situation, right? So instead of doing that, what I could do is I could model. So I might have touch chat there. Again, you can use this with any communication system. I might say, oh, I want the juice. I want the juice. And I wouldn't necessarily go through the talker and make sure I find the word juice, right? At this point in time, I want to stay within that interaction. I don't want to lose the AAC user, right? So I'm just going to try to make this quick. I want the juice. Okay, here you go. Here's the juice. I want the juice. Let's drink the juice, right? Oh, I like the juice. Let's drink the juice. So I'm modeling, I'm talking about all the words that are in that context. The additional sort of piece here too is that my AAC user is actually really interested in this juice right now. So it's a great time for me to get language around juice in. Say we're coloring, right? And your instinct might be to do hand over hand and make sure that that tree is green. So both of those things I would say are kind of more that director category, right? And actually, while we talk about using hand over hand, remember that one of our goals through this series of sessions is to stop using hand over hand, right? What we're trying to do is more neurodiversity affirming practices. If you need to watch that video again, we will link that for you. But we're going to avoid using hand over hand wherever possible. So another way to do this is I might get another sheet and I might do some coloring as well. And if I want the trees to be green, I can talk about the trees being green. But like, it's okay if it's not green, right? Like no one's gonna get a bad mark because the tree's not green. So I might say, I see all these colors of crayons. I want the yellow crayon. Right? And I might take the yellow crayon. I like the crayon. I'm gonna color this apple yellow. Right? Oh, this looks good. Now I want a different color. I'm going to take the purple crayon and I'm just going to sort of be a sportscaster, talk about my thought processes, talk about making choices. And oh, wow, this looks good. And then one thing that AAC users need more practice with is giving other people compliments, right? And so complimenting your AAC user, complimenting the other kids at the table, those are all really, really important things. Kim is just putting the neurodiversity affirming practices link in the chat if anybody that's live here is interested. Okay, and then what? So what we want to do is we want to acknowledge any communication as meaningful. This is the same that we've been talking about throughout, right? We want to model a word on the AAC system and wait. And why are we doing this? We want to teach AAC users that their communication is powerful, their communication has meaning, and their communication can change their environment. What we want to do is support their language input. We want to support visually and with keywords the language that's going into their brain. And we want to support comprehension. So, what we're focusing on is the stuff that goes into their brain, not so much the stuff that's coming out, right? When we're doing testing, when we're asking questions, when we're directing and telling kids what to do, that's all about what they're doing, right? And we're testing and making sure that that information is coming out. But if we flip it and we support comprehension and language input, we do see more language output. Okay, so your homework for this week. I want you to be the sportscaster, right? I want you to talk about all the things you're seeing. I want you to talk about the things that your student is doing, maybe the things that the other students are doing around the classroom that your student is noticing. I want you to wait and I want you to model. And I want you to think about when I model as opposed to test, right? When I'm the sportscaster instead of the director or the tester, what do you see your child or student do? How does that change your interactions? And it might be like a now thing, right? At first, it might confuse them, right? If they're used to being directed quite a bit. So, what does it change now? But what does it change across several days as well? Again, we were talking about different communicative functions, right? And how, if we want to do all of these different things, we need to be modeling all these different things. So, commenting, complimenting, sharing information, sharing an idea, discussing an interest. All of these are really, really important. So think about those things more so than requesting this week, right? Okay, I also have two core words of the week for you. And these are great words to sort of model throughout your day, right? Not to instruct, but to just model, right? So go and stop are the words I've chosen. Again, if your AAC user is at a single word place, we're modeling single words. If your AAC user is at a two-word place, maybe or approaching a two-word place, maybe we are adding a word to something that they're producing, or we're modeling two-word phrases. But I don't need you to be going through and looking for every single tiny word in the entire sentence. Go and stop are really nice because we're going to just model those, right? We might be like, oh, we're going to go down the hallway, we're going to go to the library. Your container goes in your lunch. Stop could be like go, stop, right? You could actually play that game. Or, oh, we have to stop. We're going to listen now. That's actually a direction. We might be playing with a car and just talking about go, go, go. Oh, the car's going to stop now. Not to tell the car to stop, but just to talk about what we're seeing. So subtle difference, but there is a difference. So those are your words. That's your homework. So across the week this week, really, really think about being the sportscaster and really augmenting that language input for your students. So thank you very much for joining us early morning. Again, Kim and I will stick around if you have any questions, but otherwise have a great day.